All right, so many of you have been asking for a deep dive into like how some of these tech companies got started.
Yeah.
And we actually found a great episode from CTSS Academy called The Birth of Tech Giants.
Oh, cool.
It goes way back to the beginning, to the origin stories. And it's kind of crazy to think
I know.
like Apple and Amazon started in like just ordinary places like garages and dorm rooms.
It's true.
It really is like a tech version of like rags to riches,
Yeah, it really is. And I think what's really fascinating is that a lot of their initial ideas were surprisingly specific. It wasn't necessarily about conquering the world right from the start. It was more like they had these very specific ideas and then they were able to adapt and expand upon those. And that's what really set them on the path to, becoming the giants they are today.
So let's start with Apple in 1976.
Okay.
Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak in a garage.
A garage.
Not exactly like the image that comes to mind when you think about like a multi-trillion-dollar company.
Is it?
But their vision was to make computers user-friendly.
Right.
Which seems so obvious now, but back then,
Well, yeah.
computers were intimidating for most people.
Totally. And that's such a crucial point because Apple's focus on user experience went way beyond just making things look pretty.
Yeah.
They really wanted to simplify complex technology and make it accessible to like just the everyday person.
Yeah.
Think about the graphical user interface that they pioneered.
Right.
The design of their products, it's all so intuitive. Even the way they package and market their devices, it's all carefully crafted to create like a really seamless and enjoyable experience.
And that's extended beyond computers too.
Yeah.
Like with their whole ecosystem of products like the iPod, iPhone, iPad, it's like they've created this walled garden where everything just works together seamlessly.
Exactly. And that's been a super effective strategy by controlling both the hardware and the software.
Right.
They've been able to maintain this level of quality and integration that's been really hard for competitors to match.
Totally.
And that's allowed them to create that kind of brand loyalty that goes beyond just individual products. People buy into the whole Apple experience.
Okay, let's jump over to Microsoft.
Okay.
Bill Gates and Paul Allen drop out of college in 1975.
College dropouts.
With this vision of a computer on every desk and in every home.
Wow.
Now, at the time, computers were mainly used by businesses and universities.
Right.
Did they have any idea how massive that shift to personal computing would become?
Well, it's hard to say for sure, but, their journey from MS-DOS to Windows shows like a remarkable ability to adapt to the evolving market. They knew that the future of computing was about making it accessible to the masses.
Yeah.
And that partnership with IBM was a really big moment.
Yeah.
Because it allowed them to put their operating system, MS-DOS, on IBM's personal computers, which quickly became like the standard.
And they just kept building on that foundation.
Yeah.
Windows became like the dominant operating system, and they expanded into other areas like software applications with things like Microsoft Office.
Totally.
And it's amazing to see how they went from, relatively small software company to this huge company.
It's pretty amazing.
With its hands in everything, from cloud computing to gaming.
And that evolution, I think, is a real testament to their ability to make strategic decisions.
Yeah.
They didn't just stick with what they knew,
Right.
They actively looked for new opportunities.
Right.
And weren't afraid to take risks.
Yeah.
I mean, for example, their early investment in internet technologies with Internet Explorer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and despite like a lot of initial skepticism, that turned out to be a really smart move.
Right.
It put them in a good spot for the rise of the internet.
The dot-com boom was a wild time for tech, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah.
That's when we saw companies like Amazon really take off.
Yeah.
1994, Jeff Bezos starts Amazon as an online bookstore.
An online bookstore?
Could he have imagined it becoming what it is today?
It's hard to fathom, right?
I know.
But Bezos had this incredible foresight to see the potential of e-commerce. In the CTSS episode, they mentioned that even back then, Bezos was talking about creating a virtual storefront.
Wow.
With like an almost unlimited selection of products.
Right.
He saw that the internet could like completely change retail, and he wanted to be at the forefront of that.
And it wasn't just about selling books.
Right.
It was about building a platform that could handle any type of product.
Yeah.
They focused on creating a user-friendly interface, a robust logistics network,
Right.
And a really customer-centric approach, that prioritized convenience and selection.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't love free 2-day shipping?
Exactly.
And that customer-centric approach was really key to their success.
Yeah.
Bezos famously said, we're not competitor-obsessed, we're customer-obsessed.
Right.
And that philosophy, it's reflected in their relentless focus on improving the shopping experience.
Totally.
Personalized recommendations to one-click ordering.
Right.
It's all about making things as easy as possible for the customer.
But Amazon's growth goes way beyond just e-commerce.
It does.
Their venture into cloud computing with Amazon Web Services has been a game changer, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a great example of how they used their existing infrastructure and expertise to create entirely new markets.
Right.
AWS has become like the backbone of the internet.
You really have.
Providing cloud services to countless businesses.
Yeah.
From startups to like huge Fortune 500 companies.
It's incredible how they saw the potential of this technology before many others did.
It is.
And they weren't afraid to invest heavily in it.
Right.
Even when it wasn't immediately clear how profitable it would be.
Yeah.
That willingness to take risks and innovate has been a hallmark of their success.
I think that's a common thread among all of these companies.
Now let's talk about Google.
Okay.
2 PhD students, Larry Page and Sergey Brin at Stanford.
Yeah.
Come up with this idea to organize the internet.
Right.
They called it Backrub.
Backrub.
Which thankfully got renamed to Google.
Thank goodness.
Who knew that ranking web pages by relevance would be so revolutionary?
I mean, it seems so simple now, right?
Yeah.
But at the time, the internet was this like vast, chaotic landscape of information.
Right.
Their PageRank algorithm was a huge breakthrough.
Yeah.
It wasn't just about finding websites. It was about figuring out which websites were most relevant and authoritative.
Right.
And that completely changed the way we search for information.
It's like they created the index for the world's largest library.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
And their success wasn't just about the algorithm itself.
Right.
It was about their commitment to providing a clean, simple, user-friendly interface.
Yeah.
That anyone could use.
Right.
Google's homepage is iconic in its simplicity.
Totally. Their focus on user experience was paramount.
Yep.
They understood that people wanted quick and accurate results.
Right.
And they designed their search engine accordingly.
Yeah.
And, their mantra of don't be evil also resonated with users.
Right.
People appreciated their commitment to providing unbiased search results.
And from that simple search engine, they've expanded into so many other areas.
So many.
Advertising, mobile technology, email, maps.
Yeah.
Even self-driving cars.
It's amazing.
It's mind-blowing how they've leveraged their understanding of data and information to become this ubiquitous presence in our lives.
Yeah, their acquisition of Android, for example, was a brilliant move.
Yeah.
Allowed them to dominate the mobile operating system market.
Right.
Gave them access to tons of data about user behavior.
Yeah.
And that data has fueled their advertising business and allowed them to personalize their services to an amazing degree.
Okay, but we can't forget about the social media revolution.
Of course not.
Facebook bursts onto the scene in 2004.
2004.
From a Harvard dorm room.
A dorm room.
Mark Zuckerberg and his roommates start this platform to connect college students.
That seems so simple.
And boom, a global phenomenon.
Facebook, now Meta, tapped into this fundamental human need for connection and belonging.
Mm-hmm.
It started as a way for students to connect with each other.
Right.
Quickly became a platform for sharing news, opinions, experiences with people all over the world.
Yeah.
It became like a digital town square.
It did.
A place where people could engage in conversations and build communities.
Totally.
Around shared interests.
It's fascinating how quickly it spread.
It is.
From college campuses to the mainstream.
Yeah.
And then they started acquiring other platforms like Instagram and WhatsApp.
Right.
Extending their reach even further.
Yeah, it's like they created this interconnected web of social interaction that touches almost every aspect of our lives.
Those acquisitions were really strategic.
They were.
They solidified their dominance in the social media landscape.
Yeah, Instagram brought in a younger, more visually oriented audience.
Yeah.
And WhatsApp captured the messaging market. Right. It's almost like they created their own social media ecosystem with each platform serving a different purpose.
Right.
But all feeding into this larger meta network.
They've definitely faced their fair share of challenges, though.
They have.
Especially when it comes to data privacy and the spread of misinformation.
Right.
But there's no denying the impact they've had on the way we communicate
Yeah.
and consume information.
Absolutely. They've created new avenues for political discourse, social activism, even business marketing. I mean, the way we interact with each other, the way we consume news, the way we shop.
It's all been influenced.
It's all been influenced by social media platforms like Facebook.
It's clear that these tech giants have revolutionized the world in countless ways.
There's no doubt about that.
But I'm curious to hear more about the specific strategies and decisions that led to their remarkable success. What can we learn from their journeys?
Well, that's a great question, and it's something that the CTSS Academy episode really dives into.
Okay.
And what's fascinating is that while each company has its own unique story, there are some common threads that run through their journeys, and those insights can be really valuable for anyone who wants to understand, how innovation and entrepreneurship work in the tech world.
Okay. Well, let's take a closer look at those common threads then.
Yeah. Let's
see what we can learn from the successes.
Okay.
And maybe even the failures of these tech giants.
Right, because we can learn from those too.
All right. Let's jump back in after a quick break. It's easy to look at these companies now and just be like, wow, they're massive.
Yeah.
But what's really inspiring is that their success all goes back to those early moments.
Yeah.
Those like sparks of innovation.
Yeah.
That really ignited something amazing. They proved that with passion, persistence, and a willingness to take risks.
Yeah.
Even the most ambitious goals are achievable.
And it's not just about having a great idea.
Right.
It's about executing on that idea.
Yeah.
And being willing to adapt along the way.
Right.
These tech giants were masters at recognizing opportunities.
Yeah.
Taking risks and pivoting when necessary.
Yeah.
They weren't afraid to experiment and even fail.
Right.
Because they understood that failure is often like a stepping stone to success.
The CTSS episode mentions Apple's Newton.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, vaguely.
It's one of their early attempts at a handheld personal digital assistant.
Right.
And it was a bit of a flop.
Yeah, it didn't really take off.
But it was a valuable learning experience.
It was.
That paved the way for the iPod.
Yeah.
And ultimately the iPhone.
Right.
Which completely changed mobile technology.
Exactly. And those early failures taught them important lessons about user interface design, battery life, the importance of a seamless user experience.
Right.
And they took those lessons to heart and applied them to their future products.
Yeah.
Which I think really shows their commitment to continuous improvement.
It's a good reminder that even the most successful companies don't get everything right the first time.
No, they don't.
What sets them apart is their resilience.
Yeah.
Their ability to learn from their mistakes and come back stronger.
Resilience and a relentless pursuit of innovation.
Yeah.
These companies were never content to rest on their laurels.
Right.
They were always pushing the boundaries of what was possible, even when it meant disrupting their own business models.
Think about Amazon's move into cloud computing with AWS.
Oh, yeah.
They could have just focused on their e-commerce business, which was already so successful.
Hugely successful.
But they recognized the potential of cloud services.
Yeah.
And were willing to invest heavily in building out AWS, even though it wasn't an immediate moneymaker.
And that's a perfect example of their visionary thinking. They saw that cloud computing would totally change the way businesses operate.
Right.
And they wanted to be at the forefront of that transformation.
Yeah.
It was a bold move, but it's paid off in a big way.
It really has.
AWS is a major revenue generator for Amazon now.
Yep.
And has become like the industry standard for cloud services.
It's like they were playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers.
Yeah, I like that.
They were thinking several moves ahead,
right,
anticipating future trends and positioning themselves to capitalize on those trends.
And that's a key part of their success.
Yeah.
They weren't just reacting to the market, they were shaping the market.
Mm-hmm.
They understood that in the fast-paced world of technology, innovation is key to survival.
The CTSS episode also talks about the importance of company culture.
Oh, interesting.
These companies are known for having unique and often demanding work environments.
Right.
But they've also been incredibly successful at attracting and retaining top talent.
Well, culture is absolutely critical in the tech industry.
It is.
These companies fostered environments that encouraged creativity, collaboration, and a willingness to push boundaries.
Right.
They created cultures that celebrated innovation and rewarded risk-taking.
It's like they created these talent magnets.
Yeah.
Drawing in the best and brightest minds from all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
And those talented individuals, in turn, help to fuel their growth.
Mm.
and keep them at the cutting edge of their industries.
It's a virtuous cycle.
It is.
The more talent they attract, the more innovative they become.
Right.
Which attracts even more talent and so on.
Yeah.
It really shows the power of creating a work environment where people feel valued, challenged, and empowered to make a difference.
But it's not all sunshine and roses.
Well, no.
As these companies have grown in size and influence, there's been increasing scrutiny about their power and their impact on society.
Of course.
Concerns about monopolies, data privacy, the potential for these companies to have too much control.
Right.
Those are becoming more prominent.
Well, that's an important point.
Yeah.
You know, with great power comes great responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And as these companies become more embedded in our lives, it's essential to have open and honest conversations about their role in society and the potential consequences of their actions.
The CTSS episode acknowledges those concerns.
It does.
And dives into some of the ethical considerations that come with the rapid advancement of technology.
Yeah.
And it's not about demonizing these companies.
No.
It's about recognizing the complexity of the issues and encouraging thoughtful discussion about how to navigate this new landscape.
We need to find a balance between fostering innovation and making sure that technology serves the best interests of humanity. That requires transparency, accountability, a willingness to address the potential downsides of these technological advancements.
It's about being proactive, not reactive.
Exactly.
We need to anticipate potential problems and put safeguards in place before they become major crises.
We can't just wait and see what happens. The stakes are too high. We need to be actively shaping the future of technology, not just letting it shape us.
So it's not just about celebrating their success, but also about critically examining their role in society and holding them accountable for their actions.
It's about understanding that technology is a powerful tool. It can be used for good or for bad. And it's up to all of us to make sure it's used responsibly and ethically.
The CTSS Academy episode does a great job of highlighting these issues.
It does.
And encouraging listeners to think critically about the implications of these advancements. It's a call to action for all of us to be more informed, engaged, and active participants in shaping the future of technology.
We're not just consumers of technology, we're stakeholders. And we have a responsibility to ensure that technology is used to create a better world, not a more divided or dystopian one.
These are big questions.
They are.
With no easy answers.
No.
But it's crucial that we're having these conversations.
Absolutely.
And working together to find solutions that benefit everyone.
Solutions that work for everyone, not just a select few.
It's about finding a path forward that prioritizes human well-being. Sustainability. And a future where technology empowers us rather than controls us.
I like that.
So what does this all mean for the future?
Yeah, that's the big question.
What can we learn from the past to navigate this ever-changing landscape of technology?
It's constantly changing.
The CTSS Academy episode offers some interesting perspectives on those questions.
Okay.
I'll dive into those in just a moment. So we've explored the journeys of these tech giants, from their humble beginnings to where they are today.
Right. It's been quite a ride.
And now I kind of want to look ahead. What can we expect from these companies in the future?
Yeah, the future of tech.
And what role will they play in shaping our world?
Well, predicting the future of technology is always a little bit tricky.
Yeah, it is.
But if we look at the current trends and where these companies are investing their money, we can start to get a sense of where things might be headed.
The CTSS Academy episode talks about artificial intelligence, machine learning, and automation as key areas that these tech companies are focusing on.
Right, and those technologies have the potential to revolutionize everything. From the way we work to how we interact with the world.
It seems like AI especially is popping up everywhere.
It is.
From personalized recommendations when you're shopping online. To self-driving cars.
And it's only going to get more advanced as these companies invest more in AI research and development.
But with all that potential comes a lot of responsibility too, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely.
We need to make sure that AI is developed and used ethically in a way that benefits everyone.
And doesn't make existing inequalities worse. Or create new ones.
Exactly. And, there are some big questions that we need to be asking.
Yeah.
Like, how do we make sure AI systems are fair and unbiased?
That's a big one.
How do we prevent AI from being used for, like, harmful purposes?
Yeah, we need to be thinking about those things now.
Yeah, before it's too late.
Before these technologies become so widespread that we can't control them.
It feels like we're at a crossroads.
Yeah.
We have this powerful tool, but we need to be really careful about how we use it.
Right. The choices we make now will have a huge impact on the future.
And we also need to think about the impact of these technologies on jobs.
Right. That's a big concern.
As automation gets more sophisticated,
yes,
a lot of jobs that people do now will probably be automated.
And that could lead to unemployment and social unrest if we don't prepare for it.
It's a challenge that we can't ignore.
No, we need to be proactive.
Thinking about how to retrain workers for the jobs of the future.
Exactly.
And how to create a society where everyone has economic security.
Regardless of whether their job has been automated.
It's a complex issue.
It is.
But it's a conversation we need to have.
We can't bury our heads in the sand.
The CTSS episode also highlights sustainability.
Oh.
An environmental responsibility is something that's becoming more important for these tech companies.
Right. Consumers are demanding it.
They are. They want companies to operate in a way that doesn't hurt the environment.
And these companies are starting to listen.
They are.
Sustainability is not just a feel-good thing anymore.
Right.
It's becoming essential for business.
Yeah. Consumers, especially younger generations, they want to support companies that are taking steps to reduce their carbon footprint.
Right. They want to see action.
And it's not just about consumer pressure either.
It's not.
These companies are realizing that sustainability can actually be good for business.
In the long run.
Investing in renewable energy.
Yeah.
Reducing waste, improving energy efficiency.
It saves them money.
Yeah. And it can give them a competitive edge.
Right. Companies that are seen as leaders in sustainability, they're more likely to attract talent,
right,
secure investments, and build a strong brand.
So it's a win-win.
It really is.
By going green, these companies can help the environment.
Right.
And strengthen their business.
It's encouraging to see these companies starting to take sustainability seriously.
Yeah, they have the resources and the technology to make a difference.
So to kind of wrap things up,
it's
clear that the future of tech is going to be shaped by a lot of different things.
It's complex.
Rapid technological advancements, ethical considerations, social impact, environmental sustainability.
It's a lot to consider.
And these tech giants will definitely be at the forefront of all of that.
They'll have a big role to play.
And it's up to all of us to hold them accountable.
Absolutely.
And make sure that technology is used to create a better future for everyone.
For all of humanity. It's been a really interesting deep dive into the world of tech giants.
It has.
We've covered so much.
Yeah.
From their humble beginnings to their potential impact on the future.
Yeah, it's amazing how far they've come.
And I think one thing that's really stood out to me is the power of human ingenuity. And innovation.
Absolutely.
These companies started with ideas.
Right.
With a desire to solve problems and make the world a better place.
And that's inspiring.
And that's something that we can all be inspired by. The next big technological breakthrough could come from anyone, anywhere.
It could be happening right now.
Yeah, in a garage, a dorm room, a coffee shop. Who knows?
The possibilities are endless.
So stay curious, stay engaged, and never stop exploring.
That's great advice.
The future is full of possibilities, and you might just be the one to shape it.